Hey guys, we're going to spend a little time today talking about I and me, using those pronouns correctly. I mentioned to you guys last week and when we started subject and object pronouns that generally speaking, we use the correct pronouns in sentences when we're talking about subject and object. You may not know why you use those pronouns in sentences. That's what we've been working on. But I also mentioned that I and me are the two pronouns that we make the most errors with. Hopefully by now you know that I is a subject pronoun and me is an object pronoun, which means that I has to take place in the subject part of the sentence or is the doer, and me is going to take place in the predicate part of the sentence and is the receiver. So we're going to go through some examples here. We're going to go through some examples here to kind of go through some practice, okay? So we'll start with some easy ones. If I had the sentence that blank am hungry, and you had to choose between I or me, you would know that it would be I. Okay, you would know that because it makes sense, that it sounds right, for all those reasons that I tell you that are not good reasons to know that, but you would choose the correct answer. Or will you help blank with my homework? Okay, again, if you had to choose between I and me, you would know to choose the word me. Okay. When my mom has to go to work, grandpa drives blank to school. Okay, does grandpa drive I to school or drive me to school? And mom made blank apologize to my sister. Mom made I apologize or made me apologize. We know that it's me. Did you hear me yelling? And there was a train, so I was late for practice. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple more examples here. But now we're going to complicate them. So those ones are easy. When I'm just using I and me, those ones make it a little bit easier. It's when I add things like extra people to a sentence. So if I said Jake and blank or she and blank, those are ones that we start confusing. Okay, so Jake and I ate some candy. Okay, I know it's I because ate is going to be my verb. All right, so this is going to be the subject part of my sentence. It is the doer. I am part of the group that's eating the candy. Okay, so it's the subject, and I need a subject pronoun, so it's going to be I. There's also a trick that you can use when you're using this sentence. So, for example, if you cross out the other noun in the sentence, okay, so in this case, if you were to cross out the Jake and the and part, and you were just to fill in that sentence, blank ate some candy, would you say I or would you say me? And you would say I, okay? And so if you eliminate that other noun with the and word, and then decide which pronoun to use, that will also help you identify if you're supposed to use I or me, okay? So let's do another example. So it says, Mrs. Larson asked Becca and blank to stay after class. So if I were to cross out the Becca and the and I said, Mrs. Larson asked blank to stay after class, did she ask I to stay after class or ask me to stay after class? All right, and your answer would be me. Okay, so Mrs. Larson asked Becca and me to stay after class. All right, but I crossed that out to help me identify it, and me would be the correct word. Okay. So if you see this little thought bubble up here, you know, they're talking about the fact that I thought it was proper to use I, and that's where we get mixed up because we think it's proper to use I all the time. So we just use I lots of times, even though it's incorrect. All right, so we have to be careful of that. And you'll see here, even in this thought bubble, that lots of adults say it wrong, which is why you as a student are unclear which one is correct because we hear it being used incorrectly often. Okay, so you want to make sure that you read the sentence. You can cross out the other noun with the word and then reread the new sentence. And that will help you to identify if you should use I or me. Okay? All right, so we're going to try a couple. So Grandma asked Erica and blank to water her flowers while she was away. So in this sentence, I would cross out Erica and I would reread the sentence. So Grandma asked blank to water her flowers while she was away. So Grandma asked me or Grandma asked I, right? And we would know that me would make sense, okay? And me would be the correct answer. How about Ben and blank always race to the swings when we go outside for recess? So again, I'd cross out Ben and I would reread the sentence and I'd be left with I always race to the swings when we go outside for recess. It's a wild ride when Dad pushes Blake and blank on the merry-go-round. So I cross out Blake and I reread the sentence, and me would be the correct sentence or answer. Alexander and blank were the winners of the three-legged race. I'd cross out Alexander and I would say blank were the winners of the three-legged race, so it would be I were the winner or me were. Okay, and you'll see down here in parentheses, and we had talked about this before, that sometimes we have to change the verb, right, to make it fit the sentence correctly. Okay, so it should be I was the winner of the three-legged race. Dad built a treehouse for my sister and blank. So I cross out my sister and you would say Dad built a treehouse for me. Mom called Justine and blank to tell us that we had a new baby brother. I would cross out Justine and, so Mom called me to tell us that we had a new baby brother. And the last one I'll show you is Mom makes Sarah and blank take turns using the computer. So I would cross out Sarah and I would say Mom makes me take turns using the computer. Okay, so that's just one trick, a super effective trick to help you sort of understand or kind of get the answer correct all the time for I or me. All right, so if you're struggling with this in the several activities we're going to do today, be sure to use this trick. It will help you and it will get you the answer all the time. Okay? All right, guys, you can move on to your next thing. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.